We have to find real solutions, and this is Bending the Trend. Hello, and welcome back to Bending the Trend with your host, Norm Volsky. And today we are thrilled to be joined by Pat Moore. Pat, welcome to the pod.
Appreciate you inviting me.
Absolutely. So Pat is co-founder of Pretekt, and really excited to chat with him about benefit strategy. So Pat, you've advised clients in the employee benefits space for years now. Which solutions have you deployed at some of your clients that you would recommend to others?
But you get right into it, brother. You don't even play
Absolutely.
around. No filler. I love it. I
Oh, it's
love it very
quick.
much.
This is our short form podcast.
Yeah. Let's go. So, if I were to put it, because I went back and I listened to Sean and Scott. I didn't want to sound too stupid on the podcast. It was great listening to those guys. And obviously, they lift with they deal with the big guys, right? I'm just a lowly little guy. Like, we mostly live in the under 1,000 space, in the mid market space. And our world, and Scott mentioned, I figured it would be a good way to start this.
Please.
He mentioned specifically, like, he was looking for an EMR integration for some of his larger employers. And I'm like, us little guys, we do that, man. I mean, I know it doesn't scale to the 30,000 plus folks that he works with, but we do. And I think it literally goes to the heart of really the most important thing with all this. In the mid-market space, it's really tough to have so many point solutions. Like, the really good ones are actually built for the jumbo employers. And so our biggest cheat code to everything that we do to help plan sponsors save money is in our nurse care navigator space, right? And so, like, some of the ones that I like the most already do that EMR integration work. And so he should probably, if he wants to call us, we should talk about it. But
I'll
a
try to
Virgin
make the
and
intro.
the
Grace
nurse
Star would
case,
love it.
sure, yeah, a Virgin and the nurse case navigators are two firms that I use in most of the self-funded health plans that I build and work with or advise employers on. And that's just the most important part of the entire plan. It is that place where employers interact with human beings and build trust and help them not get screwed, right? And so those are two of the really, really big solutions that I think are super, super important for folks.
Really like that. Any other technology or service recommendations, that you've deployed at some of your clients that have really moved the needle?
Yeah, man. So I would say, in the vein of probably the folks that listen to your conversation more, and something that I think would help, like, I think crawl, run, walk has been something people talk about now, at least for a little while. I created an entire new category because I would say a lot of employers, they're unfortunately not even ready for the crawl, right? There's really not ready to leave their ASO or bundled solution, which, just if anybody's listening, you should do that immediately. Do that. Like, that's the thing you should do first and foremost. But if you're not willing to do that, I like to create this category called try.
Yep.
Try. Do damn near anything, right? Like, I just like you to do something that is not purchasing an ASO or setting up an HSA and giving nothing else other than that, right?
Big three PBM.
There you go. Yeah, 100%, 100%. Something that I like is a more probably apropos to what you're used to listening to. I work with a company called Aware Health. It's similar to the vein of what Scott had recommended with Lantern, right? It's in that category, but it's not
So it's
necessarily
in
a
the
bundle.
direct contracting carve-out market.
Yeah, and so, like, same type of thought process, but just a little more physician led, right? And so what Aware Health does is they just focus on I call them the DPC for expensive stuff.
Yeah.
That's the PG version of what I normally describe it as. But what they do is, like, direct primary care. I think enough people have heard the acronym. If you're not using something like that in your health plan, you should be.
Yep.
For larger employers, it's really hard often because direct primary care is so localized and it's always really hard to scale.
Yep.
It's also the hardest to prove an ROI right away, which is really hard to get past finance, right? And the second part is when you are doing the reason I call it DPC for expensive stuff is we are just focused on direct primary care for things that actually do move the needle so that finance can approve it, right?
And we
That's
don't
real
want to censor you. What do you usually call it?
expensive shit. DPC for expensive shit. That's what
All
it's
right.
called, my friend.
That is
Um,
very, very accepted on this podcast.
good to know. Good to know. So starting there is a big deal. And so what is it? It is, I know you're a huge proponent of Hinge Health. It's in that vein, right? Something like that. It's just a little less tech and a little
Okay.
more people. And so it's virtual DPC that you can scale across the country. It doesn't matter where the location is in the country. And it's just the idea that your employees, it's all carrot, no stick, right?
Mhm.
And so I find a lot of employers in the for me, above 1,000 lives is a big deal, Norm. So just, bear
I
with me.
think again, like we need to be helping employers of all
All
sizes at all
sizes.
levels.
Yeah, but this is just something they can do because it's just giving the employees something, right? There is no takeaway. I'm not removing something from you. It's a great thing to communicate to new employees. You're just giving them a direct primary care option, but it's really around those MSK spends, right? And I can give you an example. I literally just booked an appointment for my daughter this morning because she sprained her knee at volleyball last night,
I'm sorry to
right?
hear. Is she feeling
Yeah,
okay?
and so instead of like taking her to the Illinois Bone Joint and Institute would be mad at me, but instead of taking them right there, like I can set up an appointment with a virtual primary care PT doctor, and it's going to be this afternoon in the comfort of my house. Right? Like I'm not going anywhere because I don't want to leave into the negative 35-degree weather right now.
No, we're
And
both
so
we're not necessarily always in these settings when we're recording, but when you get a foot and a half of snow, you gotta adjust.
yeah, you don't go anywhere. You don't
That's
go
right.
anywhere.
That's right. I'm in my
So
basement
yeah,
right
I love that solution, man. What I would tell you is typically, if you putting in those type of solutions done well, you can impact your MSK spend in a company. And so if that's like something that's popping up that you're
20%
outside,
healthcare spend, it's a huge category.
it's a huge category, and I most of the time it's prescription drugs and that, right? And so the try category falls super hard right there. If you're gonna do something in those two spaces, hit them first, hit them hard, and that's just a really great solution that I like to use for employers for that. It's not going to change your world, but it's a great tool for employers to kind of get into this non-buka only solution set.
Yeah, and I think the real value of DPC beyond the surface level is these are unaffiliated doctors that are unencumbered by working for a large health system and the pressures that come with it. So if you have a doctor who has no incentive to refer other than clinical quality and getting the right level of care at the right time and also take cost into consideration where hey, let's get someone quality care without it costing an arm and a leg on top of it, that's a very powerful tool as opposed to sending all your patients to a local health system where maybe the direct primary care visit is pretty cheap, but when they refer you to other areas of the hospital, then they're charging you an arm and a leg for some of those clinical services. That's where you start to really decay on the amount of value you can get, by sending your patients all to one place with doctors that don't always have incentive to refer to high value settings of care. So this is really impactful. So walk us through some of these deployments that you've done with your clients. What has been the impact? You mentioned it at an individual level. Do you have any statistics around, hey, by moving people over to Aware or people over to your first suggestion, what does that mean for the employer end of year and their overall healthcare spend?
Yeah, what I've seen in the groups that I've done it is like rough numbers, like a 20% savings on their
It's
MSK
incredible.
spend, which is pretty powerful, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it's awesome. I think the most important part is that it's just better care too, right? The dollars make sense, but
Yep.
having access to better care and also just, more easily accessible care matters a ton. So I had an employer that had a little over a $2 million spend on their MSK, if we factored in some surgeries and we factored in imaging and things of that nature. And they didn't necessarily save money by pushing them to a bundled solution or anything like that. It was just maybe not having the surgery, maybe not
Yeah.
having the imaging actually is probably step one, which is pretty nuts, right? I mean, but the way they got me is they made me do a demo, right? I spent
Great.
22 years in the Marine Corps, and some things hurt, right? It is what it is.
Thank you for your
Really
service.
good. Oh, thanks, brother. So I'm really good about hitting weights. I'm not necessarily really good about stretching, right?
Yep.
That's not the thing I do. And so, knees and back hurting quite a bit. The first time I sat down with my physical therapist, literally it was like me talking to you like this.
Yeah.
I just told her where I was at. I was like, yeah, I'm probably the point where I do need that MRI thing. I never go to the doctor. I'm that guy too. I just, I suck it up. It is what it is. And she's like, well, why do you think that? And she literally, like, she starts drilling down on me. And I was like, well, because it just, it clicks. It's really sore after any type of cardiovascular. I was like, it just hurts sometimes. And she's like, well, and she like started making me do squats on the screen and move around. She's like, Pat, I got to be honest with you. It's structurally, if you could do what you just did, you're fine. You just
Yeah.
probably need to stretch a heck of a lot more than you do.
Yep.
And that may sound silly, but
Needed to hear it.
I need to hear it. I was about to go get an MRI because I want to see if my knee was jacked up, right? And so I think most people are in that category. They just don't know. And I think most people, if they just had an expert that didn't cost them an arm and a leg to use, and they could tell them that and reassure them that had no one in the middle like clouding that judgment, I think it's a big
Yep.
deal.
I like it. Last question. Are there any issues consistently you see at your customers that you'd love to solve, but you have not identified a software solution or services vendor that solves for that? And you want to inspire someone to start a new company that can solve for something that you've been having a hard time solving for yourself.
I love it. I mean, I'm gonna cheat here because I'm gonna say something everyone wants.
Please?
Better cash pay options and solutions around networks to get out of networks, right? I'm a big proponent of RBP. I'm a big proponent of alternative sourcing for all things,
Yeah?
and I'm also the first to admit it. There's some pain points. It doesn't always work perfectly. It is the bane of most people's existence. It's why they don't leave the ASO. So anybody working in that vein to make that better, hats off to you and give me a holler if you think you got the solution.
Yeah, and you mentioned RBP and sourcing as two programs that you've already used. Can you talk to us about a little bit of the results and the meaningful accomplishments that implementing those two generated for your clients?
Yeah, totally, man. I mean, um, huge savings. Like at the end of the day, if you are purchasing healthcare outside of an insurance contracted rate, you normally win, right? The problem is purchasing health insurance outside of an insurance contracted rate. That is the
Yeah.
rub. That makes it difficult, especially if you're a larger employer, because your head of HR doesn't want to only focus on healthcare all day long. And quite frankly, when they do that, that is a big part of their job, right? It's kind of the standard things you probably heard, Norm. I don't think I'm going to tell anybody anything different, but you're saving 40% most of the time when you switch to those type of arrangements. I would tell you when you get into direct sourcing for injections and prescription medication, things of that nature, the numbers are nuts. Like it's absolutely nuts. People don't believe me when I tell them, and so I tell stories. It's the only way I can do it because it's the only way that makes sense to me. But in Chicago, like say you needed a J-coded cancer infusion, a drug that Dr. Bricker talks about all the time is Keytruda. He loves to
Yep.
put this, and he gets 1 gazillion people to listen to it, but you don't do anything with that because you got to know where to get that. Like if you don't know where to get the things he's talking about, it does you no good. And so you could get a Keytruda injection for cancer and get charged $100,000 at a major hospital in Chicago.
Yep.
I'm not going to choose a name that I don't want them to kill me, but
Yeah.
like that's what they do, right? Like it's insane that these things could be $100,000. You could go up to an injection center in Crystal Lake and get that same injection for 15.
Yeah.
Like just being able to navigate those and direct source them. Again, problem being you can't do that inside of an insurance network. and it's really the name of the game. I hate that it's not fixing it head on, but honestly, the only way to do it is on the fringes. You got to flank it, and that's what we're
Yep.
doing.
Well, again, really appreciate the insights. If anyone wants to reach out to you, how do they get in contact with you to learn about these methods?
LinkedIn, man. I'm on LinkedIn.
All right, I like it. I like it. Well, I'm excited to discuss these things at UPowered Symposium next week with you. Again, thank you for joining us on Bending the Trend, where we are fighting rising healthcare costs and fighting together on the same side of the fence. So thank you, Pat.
Let's go, brother. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks for watching Bending the Trend, where we are looking to fight rising healthcare costs. We are asking benefits leaders what digital health solutions they've implemented that has helped them bend the trend.